There is no way for me to make a segue to our next segment eloquently, but we wanted to give you a little update on some continued Mr. Beast derangement syndrome.
Oh my God.
As we covered here previously, Mr. Beast put out a video, gigantic YouTube star, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you do. I mean, he's actually the top YouTube creator in the entire world. So very famous and successful guy. He's known for these sort of acts of random charity and giveaways. And one of his most recent videos, he paid for 1,000 people to have their blindness treated so that they, were no longer visually impaired and able to see again. He went into the data about how many people around the world suffer from curable blindness, and he was, with people in the United States where it's disgusting that they wouldn't have access to this surgery without Mr. Beast coming in and paying for it. So, most normal people, in fact, I would say all normal people, look at this and go, that's good that he did that.
That's great.
That's great. 1,000 people who wanted to see can see now. That's cool. All right, let's move on. But that hasn't stopped some people from being deeply offended by the fact that, Mr. Beast took this approach. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. This is from TechCrunch. Headline here, Mr. Beast's blindness video puts systemic ableism on display. Let me read you a little bit from this piece. Recently, megastar creator Mr. Beast posted a video to his YouTube in which he spotlights numerous blind and visually impaired people who have undergone a surgical procedure that, quote, cures their blindness. As of this writing, the video has been viewed more than 76 million times, and the responses have been visceral in both praise and contempt. For his part, Mr. Beast has taken to Twitter to publicly bemoan the fact that so many are so angry at him for putting on what amounts to a publicity stunt under the guise of selfless charity. The truth is straightforward. The video was more ableist than altruistic. His reasoning that he lays out in this article, he says, in the broadest lens, the biggest problem with wanting to cure blindness is that it reinforces a moral superiority of sorts by those without disabilities over those who are disabled, although not confronted nearly as often as racism and sexism. Systemic ableism is pervasive throughout all parts of society. The fact of the matter is that the majority of abled people view disability as a failure of the human condition. As such, people with disabilities should be mourned and pitied. More pointedly, as Mr. Beast stated in his video's thumbnail, disabilities should be eradicated or cured. Okay, so the argument here is that rather than, people getting help if they want it to, recover their vision, many of these people had been, had perfect vision and then had become visually impaired. They wanted this surgery. They wanted to be able to see again. It's not like Mr. Beast was like holding people down who were like, no, I'm good. I actually have like embraced my situation and my disability and I'm happy, which if that's you, God, more power to you. That's beautiful. But these are people who wanted to be able to see. So it's not like he was like holding them down and forcing them to cure their disability in a way that they didn't want.
It's like the Jack Nicholson meme of having your eye. What is that movie? One Flew Out of the... Whatever. I'm too young for that. Anyway, the Jack Nicholson meme of having his eyes like forced open and Mr. Beast is there like curing their blindness. No, like this is outrageous. Of course, Taylor Lorenz, by the way, got in on the action saying, Clockwork Orange. There it is. Thank you, producer Griffin, in my ear. So what do we learn from this? Which is that these somehow, I don't know why, these people despise someone being successful by helping people by curing their blindness. I will never understand it. Taylor Lorenz, tweeting this out as if it's some like incredible, think piece that we're supposed to cherish this other side perspective. Look, if he was saying, I can't even believe that people live this way, denigrating them or something. Okay, then I think that's a totally different case. And doing it not even really in an altruistic way, but doing it in a way where he's clearly doing it for clout or something like that. That'd be also another way of doing it. This, by all accounts, I mean, watch the video, people. People are like, it's emotional. Like, people are crying. Their families are happy. He was getting some of the money. They were like breaking down in joy and tears. And they were, I mean, it's a tough one to watch. And as you said in your monologue, the point is that such systems shouldn't even exist. Right. It's like, how many more millions are afflicted by this? And what could we do as a society to make sure that it doesn't happen anymore? All right, that's a perfect takeaway, one of which he came away with. At first, we were thinking, these are just fringe, strange characters. But no, I mean, this is a mainstream. Look, for people who don't know, TechCrunch is a highly influential publication in Silicon Valley. Like, this is as establishment as it gets for a lot of people in the tech industry. And I'm mystified as to what exactly even compels somebody like Taylor or someone like this guy, Stephen Aquino. By the way, Aquino, he's locked his Twitter account, by the way.
Oh, really? Because of all that
criticism that was happening this way.
And Stephen,
it's psychotic.
Stephen himself, which he talks about in the piece, has a number of disabilities. And in his view, okay, he embraces his disabilities. He doesn't want to, be quote unquote cured for them or like, have them treated or whatever, because he feels like they've made him who he is. So that's the way that he's approached it. That's fine. Beautiful. Wonderful. But why are you, he says he's not judging these people who wanted to have their vision treated and restored. But that's kind of the subtext here, is that if you have a disability and you would prefer to recover your vision or be able to see for the first time, then that's sort of a failing on your part. So he projects a lot of like, oh, able-bodied people, they have a moral superiority over people with disabilities, which doesn't come out in this Mr. Beast video whatsoever. But the subtext of this piece is some moral superiority over people with disabilities who choose to embrace those disabilities versus those who choose to have them treated. That's the real moral superiority that I see coming through in this piece. So there's a lot going on there, but ultimately, Mr. Beast did nothing wrong. That's my opinion.
He didn't do a damn thing wrong. And I actually think it's important that people, because, it's not like people in the mainstream press are speaking out and saying that Taylor is psychotic or Stephen Aquino is psychotic for going after Mr. Beast like that. They'll roll their eyes in private, but people need to come out and be like, hey, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're crazy. You're actually insane if you have this perspective. So anyway, I think we should stand up for the guy. I really do feel bad because, this is probably the best video he's arguably ever done. Squid Game, even, just because it helped so many people. It's not just some individual person. And it actually raised I think for a lot of younger people who watch this, were like, hey, I had no idea that this even existed.
Yes.
That's a great thing to bring to people.
Most of look, I'm not a big Mr. Beast consumer, but I've watched a number of his videos, and, most of them are not political at all. There's no underlying political message, whatever. This one there actually was. I mean, he talked about the statistics, the number of people who had their vision restored for one of this simple 10-minute surgery. And so, on the contrary, it wasn't just like, a neutral here. The fact that you're raising awareness about how morally bankrupt this disgusting healthcare system, for-profit healthcare system that we have here, and the failings, around the world as well, that you're raising awareness about that. That's a positive thing. That's a great thing. That's reaching people who otherwise may not have really thought that through, that are just, Mr. Beast consumers, and they're not deeply political. So anyway, that's my view on it. Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.